together again. It's like the good old days.
The world has changed, Ben. We are enemies once more.
We've never stopped being enemies. I'll burn you, and then I'll bury you. What's your name?
Why does it matter?
I like to know the names of the people I'm gonna kill.
Hey Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jesse. How are you? Good to talk to you again.
Are you in Nevada?
Yes, in Las Vegas. And we spoke a few years ago. Hell Hath No Fury is not only one of my favorite movies, but one of the greatest war films. And I knew speaking to you today, I got excited because, man, I just love that film. And I want to say it's just a thrill to talk to you again.
Thank you. It means so much to me. That was a very personal film, and I appreciate all the help it got. It was the tiny little film, my COVID film, that made, that broke away.
Well, I never forgot it. Never forgot it.
Some familiar faces in this film.
Oh yes, absolutely. And congratulations! What a great spy thriller. So I just want to say thank you so much. And the character Ben Malloy isn't your ordinary CIA agent. He's a chief of station. So what does that title mean exactly?
Well, in the context of the movie, it's an exciting, highest position you can have in a particular country. So Chief of Station Congo is the CIA's top man in the Congo. Now, in reality, when I did my research, the Chief of Station is more of an honorary position they give to the older guy, the older statesman there, and he's on his way to retirement. And now he's Chief of Station. He's the guy, the face that's no longer hidden and no longer quite as covert. He's the face of the CIA in that particular territory. So he goes to the dinner parties and chats and will make statements on the news and things like that. It's getting ready for retirement. But in the context of the movie, we're using it as it's the highest, ranking position in a particular country.
And Malloy discovers his wife's death wasn't an accident. This brings him out of retirement, but he's being watched and suspected from all sides. Is Ben holding secrets? Did his wife hold secrets? There's so many questions to answer in this movie, isn't there?
It really is, and that's sort of the fun of a spy movie. The interesting thing is, and the more you sort of study espionage, and I went into a deep dive on this. It's something I've been interested in a long time. As you know, I've done a World War II movie, so I was interested in the OSS and the SOE, the Jedburghs, and therefore, the OSS's formation under William Colby into the present day Central Intelligence Agency, and how that formed, and who the first, motivators within that organization were. And I find it a fascinating world where you may end up knowing more about your adversary, as Ben does about Evgeny, played by the wonderful Nick Moran, than you actually know about your own wife, played by the wonderful Letitia Edo. And it's, and I think this is an interesting sort of conundrum to put on film. It's very dramatic. It's very, he knows, that Evgeny had a drinking problem, has a gambling problem. Evgeny knows that he's, missing his anniversary to be on the job. This is, and yet he didn't know that his wife may have been working for another outfit, So I find all of this extraordinarily ripe material for drama.
And Eastern Europe is the backdrop for this movie. I'm Generation X, so I love the Cold War feel of this, shooting in Budapest. And you go to return to old spy methods, don't you?
You really do. You really do. And I think when I set about working on this, and I had the script in front of me, it was a very good script by George McAfee, and it's like, how do I make this mine? I always do this with the script. It's very rare that I'll shoot whatever is handed to me. It's just the nature of, even if it's as little as adjusting something to be a location. It was, how do I put a fresh spin on something that's been done so beautifully, so wonderfully by Mission Impossible, James Bond, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, going back to The Spy Who Came In From the Cold. It's an extraordinarily filmed genre. What do we do? Well, what's interesting in the 21st century, as you quite rightly point out, is this return to the analog, to the hands-on spying, to the organic methods of spying and espionage that were perfected in World War II and World War One, in American Civil War, in Napoleonic times, going back to Roman times, that have been forgotten over the last couple of decades because everything was immersed in and covered by the cellular phone or the internet, encrypted messages. We've realized now that it's no longer trustworthy, and we're bringing back guys and veterans of the Cold War who understood and remembered the old ways, and we touch on that a little bit by opening the film with an old school handoff. So I'm glad you know.
Well, I often feel I'm an analog man in a digital world myself, to tell you the truth. So
You're the ones that will survive, probably.
And I understand that Alec Baldwin was your first choice for this film, but it went to Aaron Eckhart. And I feel that, totally different performances if you went with Baldwin. I mean, I think Aaron Eckhart doesn't get the praise enough for his action abilities. I think he's just fantastic.
Would have been a different film. Baldwin was fantastic. I had 6 or 8 meetings with him. No problems at all. Lovely, lovely. Would have been a very, very different film. A lot less physical, a lot less visceral, more cerebral, more sort of dealing with the paper part of espionage. And it was an interesting film. When his trial was coming up, and the Bond company wouldn't bond us with an actor who might have to leave for 10 days potentially. No Bond company would bond you. It was nothing to do with him or anything else. So we pivoted 2 weeks before shooting to Aaron. At that point, I realized, all right, I can put a lot of this action back into the script, the physicality. I talked with Aaron a little bit, and some other directors that will work with him, and realized he's extraordinarily physically skilled. Very, very fit, very strong, very dynamic. Understands firearms, understands mechanics. Is a trained fast car driver. All of these things that you really. So all of that stuff was returned to the script, but also was designed from afresh for the new script. The car chase wasn't there before. I put that into the script. All this stuff that I feel is very exciting in the film was a product of knowing that we had Aaron on board, and then Aaron working with me and saying what he could do and what he couldn't. He's just wonderful to work with. He has a dedication, a discipline, and a professionalism which is contagious. It's not only through the cast and the supporting players, but the crew as well. Everyone steps up their game when you have someone like Aaron or Olga or Alex Pettifer in there. So it's very, very exciting to work with him and see the film come together, which wasn't the initial one which I'd signed on for, which I was developing in Budapest. A good movie, a different movie. What we ended up with was a hybrid and really, really rather exciting.
And before we leave today, I have to ask you about the poster behind you. Is that the movie I think it is?
This is Point Blank.
Yes, I mean I'm a Lee Marvin fanatic. I have Lee Marvin's biography, Point Blank. I watch Point Blank about 3 or 4 times a year, at least on Turner Classic Movies. I've never seen that poster.
That's an original from 1968. That's the Italian one, and that's an original from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's 1971. That's the French release.
Wow. The foreign posters are usually better. I have the Italian version of The Apartment, and I love going with the foreign posters. But oh man, I love John Vernon in that, and I've watched that movie over and over. I mean, just Lee Marvin is just one of my all-time favorites. And to see how big you have it.
The Japanese version of The Professionals, which is unfortunately down the other end of the hallway there, but it's, I love them. It's fantastic. Inspires me. It reminds me why I'm committing my life to this and ruining my family weekends and not getting to see birthdays and, making movies. And when you surround yourself by the absolute, the best ones, the ones that motivated you, the ones that inspired you when you were a kid, keeps you going, because it is an awfully demanding job.
I just say I always find myself retreating into the past when it comes to cinema, and that's one of the all-time greats. And I have the biography of him too, called Point Blank, and it's just fantastic. So now I see where you get your inspiration from. So it's a great source.
I love it. I got this one by Borman. You know that one is John Borman. He writes an awful lot. I got that. Yeah.
The director, John Borman.
Yeah, I got that one signed as well. Yeah.
No kidding. I mean, let's see, he
directed Point Blank.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant. John Borman, Excalibur, and just what a fabulous director. So you have it signed.
I was extra on his biography, Hope and Glory.
Really?
You see me in there at 15 years old. Yeah.
Oh, Jesse, we need to have lunch sometime.
I like that very much. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for taking the time to watch Chief of Station, and I hope people get a chance to see it. I hope they enjoy it.
I'll get the word out. Thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with the film. Let's do it again soon.
Thank you. All the very best.